My dear students, good evening. How are you? How is everything with you? This is our second media lecture. Hope you have learned something from the first one. And this is reading 1, chapter 1. The handout is already shared with you. It is available in PDF format. We are done with the first 5 pages. So the chapter 1 titled Education and Student Life. What are we going to discuss in this chapter? Already we discussed. We are going to learn about a culture from its educational system, and we are going to compare 4 countries with 4 educational systems. That is in the part 1. And in the part 2, we are going to discuss your own educational life, and you are going to read about how the student population has changed the dynamics of the United States of America. So what are the things that have contributed for the development of the system over there, and how the technology has helped the students in their learning styles. And in the last 2 parts, part number 3, how to build vocabulary, what are the strategies you need to have better vocabulary. Vocabulary means knowing the words and their meanings, their usages. So how to build a better vocabulary? For that, what are the strategies you need to adopt? Strategies means plans. And in the last part, we are going to discuss on how to improve understanding of question types in reading test. So when you take a test, so taking any course is ended with testing. So what type of questions you are going to face in the testing of reading? So these are the 4 parts what we are going to discuss. We started with the first. Before that, we have a proverb from China. So if you are just having a plan for 1 year, sow rice. That means just for food. If you want to survive just for 1 year, you need to plant for rice. No, I'm planning for a decade. That means for 10 years, you need to plant for the trees. So it would be useful for the generation. Normally, generation is counted for 10 years. No, I want to educate the people. I want to educate a person for the lifetime. Then you need to educate. So for the lifetime, education is needed. For 1 year, we need the plant. For 10 years, we need the plants. For 1 year, we need the rice. So education, how important education is in one's life. Education molds minds in millions. Education makes you different from others. Education helps you to have better humanity. Education treats you or teaches you how to deal with others the way you deal with yourself. So for that we have shown a picture here. What do you see in the photo? Or what do you think the students are talking about? And what do you think is important at an educational institute? Name any 10 things. Look at it. It seems like a school, and the students are taking their classes, and they are sitting on their desks, and somebody is standing with them and showing something, maybe a teacher. So what are the things you could see here? You see the table, you see the book, you see the pen, you see the students, you see the teacher, you see the wall, you see the window, maybe it's a classroom. So you need their dresses, they are the girls, only girls are there in the class, and the teacher is a female. So how does reading the skills and strategies, how does a reflection of a society? This is part 1. We discussed that there are 4 parts in our unit. So part 1. Before you read, you need to review the topic. Look at the photos. There are 4 different pictures, and they are talking about, these are the things what we have done already in the last class. Just I'm brushing up, that's why I'm moving very fast. So if you have any questions regarding these 5 pages what we discussed before, please go back to media lecture 1. So now it is stopped to have the virtual lectures. The lectures what we are just recording and uploading them over the jump system. So you please plug in your earphones, so you can play it either from your mobile or from your laptop or desktop, whatever it is. So they are recommending two different browsers. Use those browsers to play these things. So the first one is a primary school and the students in Mexico. It is a Latin American country. And the second one on the right, high school students in an Asian country called Japan. So they have the bands to their head. Maybe that is the uniform they follow there. But on the left, the students are colorful. They are in their informal dresses. They don't have any uniform. But on the right, you find them wearing the uniform. And on the left, they are all sitting around the desk, and the teacher is standing. On the right, you have the students taking their pens and writing something. While writing, they are using their calculators. Maybe it's an exam. Maybe they are taking some skills of mathematics. That's why they are using a calculator. And the remaining two photos on the left, we are going again to an American. Sorry, the first one is Latin American country. The second one is Japan, Asian country. The third one is England, Europe. A university student in England. So he has a scarf around his neck and he is standing at the gate, it seems. He is holding a newspaper in his hands. A student going for the university. And on the right, extreme right, we have a high school. And they are the students, science students. Maybe the guy with a tie and glasses would be their teacher. And the boy with big glasses, they may be wearing something to protect their eyes. They are the high school students in United States of America. So here we are showing two different educational systems. One is Mexico, the second one is Japan, third one is England, and the fourth one is United States of America. Then we move to the fifth page. Here we are previewing the vocabulary, how to learn the vocabulary. So there are some words given, and before those words there are some boxes. If you know these words already, put a tick mark. And the first list is about the nouns, second list is about the verbs, third list is about the adjectives, and the fourth one is idioms. Noun is a naming word. Noun is name of a person, name of a thing, name of a place, name of an idea. A verb, action word, you may be knowing it if you have taken the course in grammar. Where does the action happen? Adjectives, they are the things that qualify the noun. Blue bag, blue is an adjective. Smart girl, smart is an adjective. Lazy boy, lazy is an adjective. So idioms are the group of words. So for example, there are two idioms on the one hand, the second one on the other hand. They are different words, but as a group they will be having some other meaning. Such expressions are called idioms. If you come across any of these words earlier, if you know their meaning, if you know their usage, please put a tick in the box given at the beginning of each word. Sorry. Then we move to the strategy. What do you mean by strategy? Strategy means plan. Getting meaning from text. Sorry. Getting meaning from context. Many times we don't know the meaning of a word. We don't know the usage of the word. We don't know the part of speech of the word. But how do we get the meaning? From the context, from the background. Context means from the situation. If you know about the situation, you can gain the meaning of that particular word very well. Look at it. When you read, you don't need to look up at the meaning of all new words in a dictionary. You can often guess the meanings of many new words from the context. The other words in the sentence and the other sentences in the paragraph. Here are three types of clues that will help you guess new words. Let me repeat it. Getting meaning from context. According to the situation, according to the background, you guess it. It may not be correct, but you understand the following consequences or actions. Accordingly, you predict the meaning of a word. You don't need to look up the meaning of a new words in a dictionary. Having a dictionary always a good habit. And thanks to the technology in the modern times, we need not to carry a dictionary always in our pocket. All our smartphones are equipped with dictionaries, and most of the students these days are having the smartphones with them. So if you don't have any dictionary, just go to your app store if you are using an iPhone, or your Play Store if you are using an Android phone, and download any dictionary, any useful dictionary that could be worked even without internet connection. And some dictionaries say that normally the travelers they always look for internet. So some of the dictionaries they can work even in the offline also. Just you install them. And even though if you don't have any dictionary, there is a method to look up the meaning of a word from the context. You need not to look for the word in the dictionary. You can often guess the meaning of many new words from the context. Guessing. Guessing is not a crime. You can guess it. The other words in the sentence and the other sentences in the paragraph. So there are some other words. With those words, you can guess. Because you may be knowing some of the other words in the same paragraph. From that, you can get the clue and you can guess the meaning of the word. Or you can guess the meaning of the word from the neighboring sentences. When you are reading, you may be reading a sentence or you may be reading a paragraph, because words make sentences and sentences make paragraphs and paragraphs make chapters and the chapters make a book. You know this. So when you don't know the meaning of a word, look for the other words that are known to you. If you're still not knowing the meaning of the word, look for the sentences that are familiar with you. Here are three types of clues that will help you guess new words. Clue means hint. So look for these clues. If you know these clues, you can understand what is the meaning. You keep guessing. There are three. What are the three? The first one, punctuation. What is punctuation? When you are taking the course grammar, you learn about punctuation marks, comma, full stop, colon, semicolon, parenthesis, hyphen, dash, etc. So look for those punctuation marks. What are the punctuation marks that will be helpful for us to know the meaning of a word? The first one, sometimes a sentence gives a definition of a new vocabulary item or information about it. Within the sentence, you may find the meaning of a word. This information may be parenthesis. What do you mean by parenthesis? Within brackets, comma, after a dash, hyphen, or after a comma. Parenthesis, that means the meaning would be written within the brackets, or a dash, hyphen, a line, that means it is connected with the previous word, or a comma. Example, there is a drawback, comma, a disadvantage, comma, to that idea. Look here, comma is used to give the meaning of the word. There is a drawback, so it's a new word. Drawback is in bold face here. Could you see that? The word drawback is more colored. It is more in black color. Could you identify that? Yes. Comma, a disadvantage, comma, to that idea. The word is in boldface. We don't know this word. We haven't heard this word before. We don't know the meaning of this word. Nothing to worry. After the word there is a comma. There is something written, and again after that word you find a comma again to that idea. That means the word which is coming immediately after this word and which is separated by a comma is the meaning of the word. Here drawback means disadvantage. How do you know? Because of the punctuation. What is the punctuation mark that is dividing these two words? A comma. So the first one is the word which is not familiar with us, and the second word is well-known word, popular word. Disadvantage means advantage, disadvantage. Advantage means benefits, disadvantage means loss. Advantage is a positive word, disadvantage is a negative word. So these are the clues. The first one is punctuation. How to guess the meaning from the context. The second one is sentence. Another sentence. If you are not able to find the meaning of this word in this sentence, look for the meaning of the word in the nearby sentences. Sometimes A clue to that meaning of a new vocabulary item is another sentence or sentence part. Sometimes you get the clue from the punctuation marks. What are the punctuation marks that could be useful for us to guess the meaning of a word? Maybe a parenthesis. Parenthesis means the brackets, or maybe a hyphen or a dash, that means a line, small line, and the third one is a comma. So here an example is given with a comma. There is a drawback, comma, a disadvantage, comma, to that area. That means drawback is a word that what we don't know, and the next word is disadvantage. That means disadvantage is the word meaning drawback, or drawback is the word which means disadvantage. By this we can guess the meaning of the word from the context. The second one, when you can't find any nearby word with the same meaning, there are no punctuation marks, there are no clues nearby in the form of the words, then go to the nearby sentences. Another sentence. Sometimes a clue to the meaning of a new vocabulary item is in another sentence of our sentence part. How? Example, look at this. A school system in one country is not identical to the system in any other country. It can be exactly the same because each culture is different. See, here we have two sentences. Could you see them? A school system in one country a school system in one country a school system in one country is not identical to the system in any other country. Here the word what we don't know is in boldface. So this is the way how to learn the new words. So this word we don't know. We haven't come across this word for so far. And this is a strange word. This is a new word for us. So what do we do normally? We underline or we put it in boldface. Since this is the text, it is in boldface. So the first clue is we need to look for the meaning of this word according to the context. And in that we have three clues. The first one is punctuation. Look for any punctuation marks in this sentence. Any brackets? No. Any comma? No. Any hyphen? Any dash? No. But there is a second sentence. It can't be exactly the same because each culture is different. So now we need to look for the meaning of the word in the nearby sentences. A school system in one country is not identical to the system in any other country. Try to connect the meaning of this word. So the school system in one country is not identical. It can't be exactly the same because each culture is different. So what do you mean by the word identical? Is there any word that is connecting this word in the neighboring sentence? It can't be exactly the same because each culture is different. You are comparing two different educational systems. So educational system depends on the cultural background of a country. What type of educational system you adopt is on the background of the cultural variations of your society. It can't be exactly the same because each culture is different. How do we connect these two? In the second sentence, you see the meaning of identical means exactly the same. Here we are looking for the word in the neighboring sentences. So identical means same. Identical means exactly. So no two educational systems are the same because each system comes from each society, each culture. So your educational system is on the basic background of your cultural heritage. Your educational system is on the basis of your society. So here identical means exactly. The third method is another. The first one is punctuation marks. The second one is another sentence. The third one is logic. What do you mean by logic? Reason. Sometimes simple logic helps you to guess a new word. Just a second. Sorry for the inconvenience. I am getting back to you. I'm sorry, it's taking a little bit longer time. It's updating the software. Okay. Okay, we are back. So there are three clues when we want to guess the meaning of a word from the context. The first one is by punctuation marks. The second one is we need to look for the meaning of a word in the neighboring sentences. And the third one is reason. What do you mean by reason? Logic. We need to apply our common sense. Sometimes simple logic helps you to guess a new word. The educational system is a mirror that reflects the culture. The educational system is a mirror that reflects the culture. Here the new word is reflects. It is in the bold face. Here we have a comparison. Educational system is compared to a mirror. What is the quality of a mirror? It reflects. What do you see in the mirror? You see your face. If you go and stand before the mirror, you see yourself. Whatever is visible before the mirror, that could be seen inside the mirror also. Reflects. The educational system is a mirror that reflects the culture. Here, whatever you have in the system, in your culture, that will be seen in educational system. So what is the comparison here? What do you mean by the meaning of the word reflects? The quality of a mirror is reflecting. Whatever is seen before the mirror, that could be seen inside the mirror as well. If you stand before the mirror, you could be seen inside the mirror. If you put a book to the mirror, the very book will be visible in the mirror. That means whatever is before, that will be seen inside the mirror. So our educational system reflects the society. So what do you mean by reflects? You probably know the word mirror, so you can guess the reflect. That means shows. What does the mirror show you? What is seen before you? What is shown before it? Whatever you put it before, the same will be seen. So getting the meaning of the word according to the context, we have three clues. The first one is punctuation. What are the punctuation marks that could be helpful for us to guess the meaning of a word? The boldface words, that new words would be divided by a comma or a dash or a parenthesis. Parenthesis means within brackets. Dash means a hyphen, a small line. And the second one is we need to look for the meaning of the word in the nearby sentences. If you are not able to find the meaning of the word in the same sentence, you need to look for the meaning of the word in the neighboring sentence, in the nearby sentence. So you need to take a pen and paper and you need to write down these three clues. These three clues are very important. So these three clues are helpful for us to understand how to guess the meaning from the context. The third one is logic, using your common sense, using your application of thinking ability, using your logic. That means look at the education example. The education system reflects our society. So the education system is a mirror that reflects the culture. So here educational system is compared to a mirror, and what do you find in the mirror? What is shown before it? You have a mirror in your bedroom, you have a mirror in your hall, you have a mirror in the washroom. So what is seen before the mirror that could be shown inside the mirror? So what is this example? Our educational system is like a mirror that reflects our culture. That means what is there in the culture that will be shown in the educational system. For example, in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, boys and girls have separate schools and colleges. In Western countries, in some other countries, they can sit together and take the education. They can attend the classes together. We have shown a picture earlier. There you find only the girls are taking their lectures with the female teachers. But in other countries, people used to sit together, the boys and girls. But here it is not allowed. Why it is not allowed? Because it is not allowed in the culture. Culturally, here they have the limitations. They should not mingle together. It may have its own reasons. That's why wherever you go, you find separate places for boys and girls, for men and women. They don't have any chance to get mixed. That means whatever is there in culture, that will reflect in the educational system. That means our culture is reflected in the educational system. Whatever is there in the culture, that will be shown in our education system. This is the method of using the logic to get the meaning of a word. I repeat the sentence. The educational system is a mirror that reflects the culture. Here mirror is the word what we know before, and reflects means to show. So until now we have finished in the last lecture. Now I am moving to the next part. Please go to page number 6. Just I brushed it thinking that you could learn it again and you can make it understand better. So getting meaning from context. So how to get the meaning from the context? We have three clues. You remember? We have learned. Now you need to do the exercise. This activity will help you with vocabulary that you will find in first reading selection. Read the sentences. Figure out the meanings of the underlined words from the context and write them on the lines. Let me give you the clues clearly. This activity help you with vocabulary that you will find in the first reading selection. So you are going to read a text. In that you are going to face these words or these phrases. So you need to know the meaning of these words. Read the sentences. First there are sentences. How many sentences? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sentences are there. You need to read them. And if you can't understand them just by single reading, read them again and again. And then figure out the meanings of the underlined words. Some of the words are underlined. There is a line between the word. There is a line below the word or below the phrase, below the idiom. So you need to know the meaning of that word. And from the context and write them on the lines. You need to get the meaning from the context. To get the meaning from the context, I gave you three clues. The first one is punctuation. The second one is looking for the meaning of the word in the neighboring sentence, in the next sentence. And the third one is applying your thought process, using your logic, using your common sense. And use these three sentences and find out the meaning of those underlined words. So first one is done as an example. On the one hand, comma, there are many advantages to this system, full stop. On the other hand, comma, there are also several drawbacks. Here you have two different sentences. And each sentences start with an idiom. The idioms what we have the list on page number 4. If you want, you please go back to page number 4. Not page number 4, 5. Look at this. These are the words. On the other hand, and on the one hand and on the other hand. Could you see these words? These two words. I think I need to take a pen. Yes. this one. On the other hand, on the one hand. Okay. Okay, these are the two words you need to focus on one hand and on the other hand, these two words. Okay, now let us move to the text. Okay, here you have on the one hand, and the other underlined word is on the other hand. Yes. So the first one I have underlined it, and I have used my marker to show them, or I have marked them. They are looking in different color, yellow. So on the one hand, comma, there are many advantages to this system, full stop. On the other hand, there are several drawbacks. So you need to guess the meaning from the context. For that I have given you 3 clues. What are the 3 clues? The first one is with the punctuation. In the punctuation you have 3 different punctuation marks. First one is parenthesis, that is within the brackets, and the second one is a dash or hyphen, a small line, and the third one is a comma. So the meaning will be there in the second or third words, so the second word, that will be separated by any of these parentheses or dash or a comma. The second type is you need to look for the meaning of the word in the nearby sentence. The third one is logic. Use any of these and find the meaning of these words. Look, in number of on the other hand means from one point of view. On the one hand, the meaning is already given, it is written. Could you see that? From one point of view. So what do you mean by on the other hand? What is the meaning of the word on the other hand? Guess. On the one hand means from one point of view. On the other hand means from another point of view. Got my point? Look at the sentences again. Try to understand the meaning of the sentences even though you don't know the meaning of certain words. So imagine that you don't know the meaning of the words that are underlined. You are just guessing the meaning of those words from the context. On the one hand means, on the one hand there are many advantages to this system. Every coin has two sides, positive and negative, head and tail. For this system there are many advantages. Advantages means positive sides, benefits, profits, full stop. On the other hand, unfortunately, when you make the flip side, when you look for the other side of the coin, there are also several drawbacks. Drawbacks means weaknesses, losses, disadvantages, advantage, disadvantage, merit, drawback. These are the antonyms, positive, negative. So the first one is given from one point of view. What does it mean? From another point of view. Please write it down. Take out your pen and paper. I asked you to come to the lecture with your handout. So when you are listening to the media lecture, you need to keep the handout with you and you need to write down the answers there, because how to prepare for the exams, you need to prepare from your handout. So I am not writing any answer here. First question 1, on the one hand is equal to from one point of view. On the other hand means, what does it mean? Please write. Please write. From another point of view. From another point of view. So done. Now move to the next sentence. Yes. In number of countries, comma, education is both compulsory, dash, required, dash, and universal, comma, available to everyone, comma, at least in primary school, and within the brackets elementary school. Here you need to know the meaning of these words from the context. The words what are important are given with underlined mark. How many words you need to write the meaning? 3. Compulsory, the first one. Look, the compulsory. Second one, universal. Third one, primary school. So I have given you 3 clues to get the meaning of the word from the context. What are they? The first one is punctuation marks. Look for the punctuation marks. Any punctuation marks are used here. And if there are 3 punctuation marks, your job is done. What are they? The first one is parenthesis, the second one is a dash, and the third one is a comma. And the second one is you need to look for the meaning of the word in the next sentence. And the last one is you need to look for the meaning of the word with a logic, with a common sense. That's what we did with the first example. Because on the one hand example answer is given, so on the other hand we expected the answer to be from another point of view. So which clue could be useful here? Punctuation or from another sentence or logic? The first clue is helpful here. Look at it. Am I right? I'm sorry you are not with me, so you can't interact you. I can't get your messages from your chat box. So you can only listen to me and say yes or no to yourself only. So here we have the dash, we have the comma, and we have the parenthesis. So the meaning of the word would be given after these punctuation marks. Compulsory. What is the meaning of compulsory? Yes, here it is, there is a meaning. The word compulsory means, I keep it in with marker, required. So you can write in the blank required. Use your pen and write the answer. What do you mean by compulsory? Compulsory is equal to required. Required means necessary, needed. What do you require to pass the course? You need to take the exam. You need to attend for the final exam. You need to attend for the quizzes. You need to take the mid exam. You need to submit the assignments. You need to listen to the lectures. This is required. Required means something compulsory, something needed. No, I am not interested to take the exam. I am sorry, you can't pass this course. I can't listen to the media lecture. Sorry, you can't get the marks. I don't like to submit the quiz. I am sorry, you will be missing 10 marks. So these are required, these are necessary. What do you need to drive a car? To drive a car, you need a car and you need a license. Oh, I don't have a car. How can I drive the car? No, you are not allowed. You need a car. If you have a car, then only you are allowed to drive. Okay, I have a car, but I don't have a license. No, it is required to drive the car. It is a compulsory. It is an essential one. Required means something needed. Without that, you can't do. So, in number of countries, education is both compulsory. That means in number of countries, you can't stay at home. The same in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia also. As a boy, as a girl, you must, when you attain certain age, you must be admitted in the school. You must study. If you say I want to stay home, the government may not allow you. So the meaning of the word compulsory is required. And universal, the second word to be considered for the meaning. Look, this word is also underlined. So what is the meaning of the word universal? What do you mean by universal? The word is given. Next, available to everyone. Available to everyone, universal. So that means people won't discriminate you on the basis of your birth. Or you are from a poor family, so you are not allowed to go to school. You are a girl, so you are not allowed to go to school. No, it is universal. It is available to everyone. Look at the punctuation mark. After the word available, there is a comma. Available to everyone, and again there is a comma. By this you can understand this is the meaning of the word. What is the meaning of the word universal? Available to everyone. Please write it in the second blank. Please write it in the second blank. Are you doing? Please do the same now. So what is the meaning of the word compulsory? Required. R-A-Q-U-I-R-E-D. What is the meaning of universal? That means available to everyone. How do you know this? Because of the punctuation marks. Punctuation marks is the second clue to get the meaning of the word from the context. So we are with the exercise, getting meaning from context. There are three ways to get the meaning from the context. The first one is, what is the first one? The first one we have done it just now, punctuation marks. There are three different punctuation marks that will be giving you the meaning of the word. The first one is parenthesis, within the brackets. You write something within the brackets after the word, that is the meaning of the previous word. Or you divide the word with a dash, you separate the word with a dash, hyphen, then that is the meaning of the word. For example, here compulsory hyphen, required hyphen, that means required is the meaning of the word compulsory. Then the second one is, the third one is comma. When you divide the word with a comma, then the second one would be the meaning of the first word. For example, universal, it is separated with available to everyone and again comma. So available to everyone is the meaning of the word universal. Now the last one, at least in primary school. So primary school, secondary school, college, university, higher secondary school, what are these? These are all the stages of educational system. What do you mean by primary school? The meaning is given within the parenthesis, within the brackets after the word. Could you see that? After the word primary school, we have elementary school. Elementary school means the school where you go at the beginning, nursery, kindergarten, LKG, UKG, first class, second class. These classes would be there in the elementary school, in the primary school. So the meaning of the word primary school is elementary school. So we have three words and the meaning of the three words are given here in this sentence. So these are all indicated with punctuation marks. The first one is separated with a dash and the second one is separated with a comma and the third one is put within the brackets. This is the second clue from which we can get the meaning of the word. Done. Now let us move to the third sentence. We are with the getting meaning from the context. We need to go fast. We are going very slowly because we need to cover a lot of syllabus. Please bear with me if at all I am running fast. Okay, now the third sentence. There are many more schools in cities than in rural areas. There are many more schools in cities than in rural areas. There are many more schools in cities than in rural areas. The word which is underlined is rural. You need to write the meaning of the word rural. Read the sentence again until you get the meaning. There are many more schools in cities. Cities. What do you mean by cities? Place of living where you find more people, more buildings, more businesses, more houses, more movement, more traffic, more crowded, more people, more supermarkets. For example, Jizan is a city, Dawam is a city, Jeddah is a city, Riyadh is a city. So read the sentence. There are many more schools in cities. You find more schools in the cities. Why? Because there are many people. When it is more crowded, if there are many students, they need to go to schools. Then you need to open more schools than in rural areas. So here the word what you need to know about the meaning is rural. What do you mean by rural? This is you need to apply logic. Alarda is a rural area. Samta is a rural area. Addarb is a rural area. Sabya is a rural area. What does it mean? Dabya is a rural area. Rural. Anyone giving me the answer? I am sorry, you are not there with me. I need to give you the answer. City means a big place. Rural, a small place. What is Samta? It's a village. a village, FIFA village, Bani Malik village. It's not as big as Dammam. It is not as big as Jeddah. It is not as big as Riyadh. So rural is the word which is underlined. What is the meaning of rural? You please write it there. Rural means village. A village. Okay. Done. Next. Please write down the answer in your notebook. Now move to the fourth sentence. Public schools are all both free and egalitarian. All students are considered equal and learn the same material. Public schools are all both free. There are two types of schools, public schools and private schools. Where did you study? I studied in a private school. What do you mean by private school? The school owned by the private people. Public school means a school owned by the government. In the public school, you need not to pay any money because the school belongs to the government. The government gives you free education. The public schools are all both free and egalitarian. There are two words. Free, you know, you need not to pay any fee. Sorry, the education is free. And egalitarian. What do you mean by egalitarian? After that there is a semicolon, the meaning is given clearly. All students are considered equal and learn the same material. Whether you are rich, poor, whether you are a boy or a girl, whether you are from privileged family or not, all are equal. You don't get any special treatment. You are not superior to anyone. All are equally considered. What is the meaning of egalitarian? We have three clues to guess the meaning from the context. First one is punctuation marks. The second one is you need to look for the meaning in the other sentences. In the next sentence, here look at public schools are all both free and egalitarian. All students are considered equal and learn the same material. And the third one is logic. Here we need to move to the other part of the sentence or other words in the same sentence. Look, the meaning of egalitarian is all are considered equal and they learn the same material. Free and egalitarian. Egalitarian means equal. That is the meaning of the word egalitarian. They deal with all students or all students are considered equal and same material. This is the meaning of the word egalitarian. Then come to the fifth one. College students need great discipline, semicolon. In order to make time for their studies, they need the self-control to give up hobbies, sports and social life. What do you mean by discipline? For example, you are the college students, you are the university students. You have done with your schooling, now you are going to the university, you are taking the course reading 1. They need great discipline. So here the word discipline is underlined. Let me take a gulp of water. Thank you. College students need great discipline. In order to make time for their studies, they need the self-control to give up hobbies, sports and social life. You all need discipline. What do you mean by discipline? In order to make time for studies, you are a student, so you need to give time for your studies. They need to have the self-control to give up their hobbies. Hobbies means what do you do in the free time? I love swimming. I do swimming in my free time. What do you do in free time? I go out and play football. I watched TV. I chat with my friends. I am busy with social networking sites. These are all called hobbies. And sports, you need to stop going to sports. And social life, gatherings, marriages, functions, parties, these things you need to cut short. Why? Because you need to spend your time on studies. What do you mean by discipline? So how do you find the meaning of this word? From the punctuation, is there any punctuation marks used? There are 3 punctuation marks. Colon is not there. There are only 3 mentioned in the clues. What are they? Dash, parenthesis and comma. So first rule is not applicable. Second one, look for the meaning of the word in the remaining words or in the next sentences. Discipline. Is it there? Or look for the meaning of the word from the context. That means apply your logic. What do you mean by discipline? Discipline means self-control. Here you have the meaning of the word. Okay? Self-control. Then, sixth one. Results on these exams affect the entire family because there is high status, comma, or social position for a whole family in which children have high test scores. Read the sentence again. Read the sentence as many times as possible until you get the meaning. If you are not able to understand the meaning, you need to repeat the reading. Results of these exams affect the entire family. You are taking the exam. So if you get good result, I got A plus, then it will affect. Affect means influence. The entire family. Here the word entire is underlined. Because there is a high status or social position for a whole family in which children have high test scores. So if you get the good marks, you will be getting recognized in the society. Oh, what is your grade? I got A plus. Good, congratulations. Mashallah. People celebrate it. I am a graduate. Oh, they will make a party. Everyone in your society will be knowing that you are a graduate. They celebrate it because it's an occasion to celebrate. It is an occasion to make yourself feel proud. Not only you, even your family members, your brothers, sisters, your father, mother, everybody talks about you. Then they feel proud. The entire family. That is the one word underlined. And the second word is status. So what are the meanings of these words? Egalitarian, discipline, already done. Entire, and the next one is status. Entire family, complete, total. Guessing the meaning from the context. So the second one is status. What do you mean by status? Status, comma, or social position. Here the word is given with the meaning with a punctuation mark. After status there is a comma or social position. Again comma. So status means social position. So please write down the meanings of these words in your notebook, in your handout. Entire means complete, total. Status means state social position. What is your social position in the society? People respect you or not? You are a cheat, you are a thief. Do the people respect you? No, they look down upon you. They don't like you, they hate you. So you are a graduate, you got an honor, you got good marks in the exam, you scored A plus in reading 1. How are you treated? You are treated very well. So this one is called status. So please write down the meaning. Entire means complete. Status means, what do you mean by status? Means social position. And the last one, students themselves decide if they want college, preparatory or vocational classes in high school. No national exam determines this for them. Students themselves decide if they want college, hyphen, preparatory or vocational classes in high school, comma, no national exam determines this for them. The word what you need to know about the meaning is determines. What do you mean by determines? Where is the meaning of this word? Could you see the meaning of this word in the rest of the sentence? Or do you find the meaning of this word from the context? Can you find the meaning of this word from any logic? Can you find this word from any punctuation marks? Yes, the meaning of this word is found in the nearby sentences. Students themselves decide if they want college, preparatory or vocational classes in high school. College, preparatory or vocational classes in high school. No matter, no national exam determines this for them. Determines means decides. Decide. So this is the meaning of the word. Please write the meaning of the word determines as decides in the blank. So reading an article. Now you are going to read an article. You are going to read an article. You are going to read a paragraph. You are going to read an essay. You are going to read sentences. As you read the following selection, think about the answer to this question. What can we learn about a culture from its educational system? As you read the following selection, this is not my text, it got extracted from somewhere. So when you are reading, you need to think on this question. What can we learn about a culture from its educational system? Read the selection, don't use a dictionary, then do the exercise that follow the reading. While you are reading, you need to keep in mind one question. What is the question? What can we learn about a culture from its educational system? We are learning about the educational system. Can we from that examine about the educational system or not? Is it possible to get anything about the educational system from this? You need to think over this. And don't use the dictionary because you need to guess the meaning from the context. For that we have given you 3 clues. What are the 3 clues? The first one is look for the punctuation marks. And the second one is look for the meaning of the word in the nearby sentences. And the third one, apply your common sense. Use your logic to guess the meaning. So keep guessing and read the text and then try to understand the meaning of these words which are in boldface blue. Education, a reflection of society. So how many paragraphs do you have? A, B, C, D, E and F. So this essay is for 2 pages. While reading it, try to guess the meaning of these words. And don't look for any dictionary for the meanings of these words. There are so many words which are in different color. They are in blue colored. So some of these words we already used. And if they are not used, keep guessing. For guessing of the meaning of the words, we have 3 clues. The first one is punctuation marks. The second one, what is the second one? Second one is you need to guess the meaning of the word from the nearby or the neighboring sentences. And the last one is you need to get the meaning of the words from the logic, common sense. Education, this is the title of your article. Article means an essay. A reflection of society. It contains the paragraphs A, B, C, D, E, F. That means there are 6 paragraphs. Paragraphs, what do you find in each paragraph? You find sentences. What is a sentence? A group of words that are put in a logical order. Look, visit schools anywhere in the world, comma, and you will probably notice a number of similarities. Full stop. These are students. Sorry, there are students, comma, teachers, comma, books, comma, blackboards, and exams everywhere. However, a school system in one country is not identical to the system in any other country. It can't be exactly the same because each culture is different. The educational system is a mirror that reflects the culture. Look at the school system and you will see the social structure and the values of its culture. This is the first paragraph. I read the paragraph once again and you to read it as many times as possible. It is better to keep your handout with you and read it along with me. So while you are listening to my lecture, it is better to read it as well. Visit schools anywhere in the world and you will probably notice a number of similarities. These are students, teachers, books, blackboards and exams everywhere. Exams everywhere. However, a school system in one country is not identical to the system in any other country. It can't be exactly the same because each culture is different. The educational system is a mirror that reflects the culture. Look at the school system and you will see the social structure and the values of its culture. Just mark the words that are needed to be learned. Keep guess the meaning of these words and don't look for any dictionary for the meaning of these words. Identical reflects values. And the next paragraph. Next paragraph is having a title Mexico. Mexico is the name of the country. It's a Latin American country. It's one of the South American countries. In Mexico, the educational system reflects some of the country's many contrasts. Full stop. On the other hand, it is believed that the nation can achieve equally of rights for everyone through education. The basis of the Mexican educational system is country's constitution, which was written in 1917. It requires education to be free, compulsory and universal. It also states that education should support national unity and lead to social, economic and cultural improvement of the people. Full stop. At lower levels, this means that there is emphasis on the country's rich cultural history. Children write historical essays, participate in activities for national holidays, and read about national heroes, especially native people, Indians. However, it is often difficult to provide education in rural areas where many of the indigenous people live. People in these areas are poor and isolated geographically. There are not enough schools. There are not enough schools and rural teachers must be able to teach all 6 grades of primary school. Also, traditions among some indigenous people don't typically include school attendance. I repeat the paragraph once again. While I am repeating the paragraph, you need to focus on bold letters. Here you have the bold faced words and colorful words. Better you underline the both, or you better guess the meaning of these words. In Mexico, the educational system reflects some of the country's many contrasts. Then, on the one hand, it is believed that the nation can achieve equality of rights for everyone through education. The basis of the Mexican educational system is the country's constitution, which was written in 1917. It requires education to be free, compulsory, and universal. It also states that education should support national unity and lead to social, economic, and cultural improvement of the people. At lower levels, this means that there is emphasis on the country's rich cultural history. Children write historical essays, participate in activities for national holidays, and read about national heroes, especially native people. Indians. However, it is often difficult to provide education in rural areas where many of the indigenous people live. People in these areas are poor and isolated geographically. There, there are not enough school books, and rural teachers must be able to teach all 6 grades of primary schools. Of primary school. And also, traditions among some indigenous people don't typically include school attendance. This is the third paragraph. Sorry, second paragraph. Now we need to move to the third one, that is C. Japan. First I read it, and in the second reading I will underline those words that have to be highlighted. Look. Japan. The Japanese value education highly. One statistic reflects this. The Japanese place such importance on education that 88% of all students complete not only the primary school but also high school. Public schools are all both free and egalitarian. All students are considered equal and learn the same material. For social reasons, it is important for a student to receive a university degree and a degree from the right university. To reach this goal, students have to go through examination hell. There are difficult exams for entrance to all universities. Too many of the better primary and secondary schools, and even to some kindergartens. Japanese students need great discipline. In order to make time for their studies, they need the self control to give up hobbies and social life. Results of these exams affect the entire family because there is a high status or social position for the whole family when the children have high test scores. I will repeat the same paragraph once again. While I am reading it, please underline the words that are bold or colored or in boldface. The Japanese value education highly. One statistic reflects this. The Japanese place importance on education that 88% of all students complete not only primary school but also high school. Public schools are both free and egalitarian. All students are considered equal and learn the same material. For some reasons, it's important for a student to receive a university degree and a degree from the right university. To reach this goal, the students have to go through examination hell. There are different exams for entrance to all universities. Too many of the better primary and secondary schools, and even to some kindergartens. Japanese students need great discipline. In order to make time for their studies, they need the self control to give up hobbies, sports, and social life. Results of these exams affect the entire family because there is high status or social position for the whole family when the children have high test scores. That is about Japan. Now we move to the fourth paragraph. This is about Britain. D. In the United Kingdom and within the brackets, Britain. The educational system reflects the class system. All state schools, primary, secondary, and university are free, and the first 9 years are egalitarian. All students learn the same material. At age 11, students take an important national exam. After this, they attend one of three possible secondary schools: college preparatory, vocational for job training, or comprehensive with both groups of students. However, 6% of British students attend expensive private schools. These are students from upper class families. Half of the students at Oxford and Cambridge universities come from such expensive secondary schools. It might seem that anyone can afford to go to university because all universities are free. But only 1% of the lower class goes to the university because graduates from good universities get best jobs. It's clear that success is largely a result of one's social class. And I'm going to repeat the same paragraph once again. While I repeat it, I'm going to underline or mark the bold-faced or colored words or phrases. In the United Kingdom, Britain, the educational system reflects the class system. All state schools, primary, secondary, and university are free, and the first 9 years egalitarian. All students learn the same material. At age 11, students take an important national exam. After this, they attend one of three possible secondary schools: college, preparatory, vocational, or job training, or comprehensive with both groups of students. However, 6% of British students attend expensive private schools. These are students from upper class families. Half of the students at Oxford and Cambridge universities come from such expensive secondary schools. It might seem that anyone can afford to go to a university because all universities are free, but only, so I forgot to mark effort, but only 1% of the lower class goes to the university because graduates from good universities get the best jobs. It's clear that success is largely a result of one's social class. I need a break here. I need to gulp a bottle of water. Next paragraph, paragraph number 5, is the United States. This is the country which is mentioned at the last, and then we are going to conclude the article or the essay. Yes, paragraph number E. Education in the United States is available to everyone, but not all schools are equal. Public primary and secondary schools are free for everyone. There is no tuition. Almost 80% of all Americans are high school graduates. Students themselves decide if they want college preparatory or vocational classes in high school. No national exam determines this. Higher education is not free, but it is available to almost anyone, and about 60% of all high school graduates attend college or university. Older people have the opportunity to attend college too because Americans believe that you are never too old to learn. On the other hand, there are also problems in US schools. In many secondary schools, there are problems with lack of discipline and with drugs and crime. In addition, public schools receive their money from local taxes, so schools in poor areas receive less money. As a result, they don't have enough good teachers or laboratory equipment, and the buildings are often not in good condition. Clearly, US education reflects both the best and the worst of the society. This is the paragraph about the United States educational system. I will repeat the sentence paragraph once again, and while reading it again, I will mark the words that are in color. Education in United States is available to everyone, but not all schools are equal. Public primary and secondary schools are free for everyone. There is no tuition. Almost 80% of all Americans are high school graduates. Students themselves decide if they want college preparatory or vocational classes in high school. No national exam determines this. Higher education is not free, but it is available to almost everyone, and about 60% of high school graduates attend college or university. Other people have the opportunity to attend college too because Americans believe that you are never too old to learn. On the other hand, there are also problems in US schools. In many secondary schools, there are problems with lack of discipline and with drugs and crime. In addition, public schools receive their money from local taxes. So schools in poor areas receive less money. As a result, they don't have enough good teachers or laboratory equipment, and the buildings are often not in good condition. Clearly, US education reflects both the best and the worst of the society. That's the end of the United States and its educational system. And now we are going to conclude the article by the last paragraph F. Conclusion. It's clear that each educational system is a reflection of the larger culture, both positive and negative aspects of its economy, values, and social structure. Look at a country's schools and you will learn about the society in which they exist. And this is the last paragraph. I will repeat it once again. It's clear that each educational system is a reflection of the larger culture, both positive and negative aspects of its economy, values, and social structure. Look at a country's schools and you will learn about the society in which they exist. There is only one word to be marked or highlighted, that is aspects. That is the end of the article. Now you need to do the exercises on the next page. So read this text again and again until you find the meaning, and while you are reading you need to keep guessing the meaning. There are so many words that are marked or highlighted. So the activity is you need to what we can learn about a culture from its educational system. This is the question you need to keep in mind, and while you are reading you need to look for the meaning of the words from the context, not from the dictionary. For looking for the meanings from the context, there are three clues. The first one is punctuation marks. There are three punctuation marks. What are they? Parenthesis, dash, and a comma. The second one is you need to look for the meaning of a word by guessing the meaning from the same part of the sentence or other parts of the sentences, or you need to look for the meaning in another sentence. And the third one is use your logic to find the meaning of the word. So we can sign out here because you need to read this article again and again because you need to do lot of activities on the basis of this. So we need to move to page number 9 in the next class. So here you need to identify the main idea what is discussed in the paragraph. So my dear students, thank you for being with me. I am tired, I am feeling pain in my throat because I keep on giving lecture for the last 1 hour and 20 minutes it seems. Thank you for your time. Keep listening to the lecture again and again. If you have any doubt, and while you are listening to the lecture you need to plug in your earphones to get the voice clear, and keep your notebook and handout with you. All the handouts, material, learning materials or resource materials are uploaded on the system. You need to take a printout, you need to save it, you need to download it, and you need to keep a pen always with you, because you need to write your answers with the pen, because our exams are written exams. You need to sit in the class and take the exam with a pen on a paper. So to practice it we need to follow this. Okay, thank you very much, thank you for your time, thank you for being with me. Have a nice time. See you in the next lecture. Bye bye. Good night.